Hi everyone, welcome back to the Unapologetic Me, where I choose to live unapologetically. I know I've been gone for quite a while. I've been through a lot in the past 2-3 months. It's been a whirlwind. I might talk about it. Like a later episode, if that's what I feel called to do. If not, then I'm just gonna focus on what I feel called to do. So that's what I'm starting with today. Excuse me. Turn this down a little bit. The music playing in the background actually it's something called hand pan music. Specifically, it's a YouTube channel. I want to say his name is Malt Martin. It could be Malty Martin. It's MalteMarten. This particular video is Returning Home, is what you're hearing in the background. I stumbled upon it a couple of weeks ago. I just really like the sound of it. It's very soothing, and I like what it does to my spirit and my brain. So I know you probably won't hear a ton of it because I'll be talking, but if for some reason you catch a little bit and you want to know more, check out his channel. I really like what the music that he puts out, and I like a lot of the collaborating videos that he does with other people on that channel. So definitely check him out. Good music for the soul. That being said, I'm also going to be drinking tea throughout. If you don't like when somebody drinks throughout the video, I'm sorry, this may not be the channel for you, but I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of talking, and I feel like there are some times where I'm going to have to clear my throat, so just deal with that. I'm going to try not to be super gulpy about it, but it is what it be. Now, I'm doing something different with my channel. I will be changing it from just a YouTube channel to a YouTube podcast hybrid. This is the first episode, so if you're listening via podcast, if it's on Spotify, Amazon Music, I'm not really familiar with all the different platforms where it could be playing right now. So if there are other platforms that you're listening to right now and I'm on there, awesome. That means I figured it out, and welcome. But if you are keeping it OG and sticking with me with the YouTube, I want to be able to have this as well, just to keep to my roots. Plus, some people like a visual. They like to be able to visually see who they're interacting with on a daily basis. So I want to do a YouTube/podcast because that's what I feel called to do. Now, the overall plan right now for my podcast, for my YouTube channel, I was almost exclusively doing tarot readings. And while tarot readings will still be in play, the ones that I do for these episodes, these readings will be more for me. And I think what I'm going to be doing is, instead of putting out future podcasts or future readings, I will be going over readings that I have done either earlier that day, or I'll be doing it one for maybe earlier in the week. And by the time you hear the episode or watch the video, I will be giving kind of a breakdown of what was in the reading versus what unfolded throughout that time period for what the reading was for. I just want to do it a little different. I know a lot of YouTubers put out forecasts for the collective, and it just... I started doing that, but it's not sitting right with my spirit to do it that way. That said, I will be announcing at some point when I have a platform open to do readings, to perform readings for people. Right now, I don't have any because I want to focus on one thing at a time. The ADHD won't let me be, and it was trying to have me do a bunch of different things at one time, and it was just, I was spreading myself too thin. So for now, I'm going to start with this. Once I have what's the word? Once I have like a system, it's close as where my brain wants to give me right now. But once I have a system set out, and once I have some structure to it, then I'll make an announcement in a couple of my episodes when I'm going to be opening up for readings to do personal readings for people. So until you see that, or until you hear that episode where I'm opening it up, don't expect for me to reach out to anyone. I'm not going to reach out to anyone on my social media. I'm not going to Facebook, Instagram, any platform. I'm not reaching out to people independently saying, hey, like I felt something in the force, and I was called to do a reading for you. I'm not going to do that. Even when I open up readings, I won't be doing that. I feel like if you are meant to get a reading from me, you will either come across my videos or you will come across my podcast. You will feel something in your spirit. Your spiritual team will be calling out to mine and you will reach out to me. So I'm not going to be shoving any of my readings onto people. This is meant to be a personal spiritual journey, very similar to therapy, which I believe is a choice. You have to choose to be open to the messages that you're going to receive. That said, I'm also switching it up a bit. It won't be primarily tarot. I will be doing my readings in there. It will be a segment within the podcast. But for right now, I actually will be doing the first series that I'll be working on. And I'm going to say it's a limited series because it's pretty much just going to be until I finish it. But it's going to be a biblical book club. I have been going through the Bible from chapter to chapter from the very beginning since January. I've been making notes on things and questions that I've had, or little insights that I've had on certain chapters. And I have had conversations with people and they found some of the things that I had to say interesting. And they also had a lot of interesting things that they would like to share. So I wanted to open it up. I wanted to do it for a wider audience because I think this is how Bible study is meant to be done. I think it's meant to be a open forum with people who are open-minded, who would like to discuss the stories and the lessons in the Bible and really see what messages come about it. So this is kind of going to be like my fellowship, essentially. As far as some of my listeners or some viewers are concerned, I know that a lot of people who are Christian or subscribe heavily to the Bible would bristle at the thought of using the Bible in tandem with doing tarot. The two, at least I grew up Baptist, I grew up gospel, and so for my entire childhood, the two have always been kind of very separate. In fact, there's certain parts of the Bible, according to some people, I haven't gotten to those chapters yet, but according to some people, they say that this is some form of divination or witchcraft, and I'm like, no. So if it's going to bother you that I'm going to be mixing the tarot with the Bible, then this is not the channel for you. This is not the podcast for you. And you're not going to hurt my feelings by tuning out. However, I feel I have been called for months and months that this is something that I'm meant to do. And I want to start that actually in this episode. I want to show you how the two worlds mix for my life and show you how that all of that unfolds. So with that being said, I'm gonna kind of jump into it. There was a reading that I did last week And I want to explain, some of the things that happen around it, which is why I ended up having to record today a week after the reading instead of giving the reading when I undid it. When I performed the reading. So bear with me. I just want to have my little ambiance on. I got my music popping already. Just a little disclaimer. Children, if you have fire elements like this and you're like, oh, this is cool, I want to do this, please get the permission of your parents. Don't just be setting stuff on fire. I accidentally set my brother's closet on fire when I was younger, messing around with incense. I think I was like 10. So yeah, learn from me. Learn from me. Don't do what I did. So yeah, I got my little candles popping. I got my incense going. Spoiler alert for anyone, or I guess not spoiler alert, a little disclaimer. I'm about to ring this bell so I can cleanse the energy. I already saged my entire apartment about 20 minutes ago. So I just want to, ring this bell to invite cleansing energy, to invite the spirit into this episode. So bear with me. Okay. Give me one moment. Heavenly Divine 3 in 1, the Father, the Mother, the Son, I come to you right now, humbly asking for guidance and advice. I pray that the messages that I meant to relay are filtered through you, and that the messages that you are wanting to get across come out clearly and without delay. I rebuke and return any negative energies or entities with the intent to interfere or intercede with any of the messages that are meant to be relayed through me to the masses. In Jesus' name I pray. In the Divine 3 name I pray. Amen. Okay. Let me just bear with me. Okay, so 2 things. 1, I have a bunch of things written down and I'm about to put my glasses on, so I'm just going to my eyes are going to get all reflective on y'all. Don't come for me. Just like they say in Django, it's nice to see. So don't give me guff about it. I just need to see what I'm doing. Okay. So I have my reading, I have a little bit of a breakdown of it, and I have parts of the Bible that were marked out for this reading. Now, this is how it rolls. Let me move this before I start another fire. Oh, Lord Jesus, that's a fire. Oh, see, kids? This is why you need an adult before you start a fire. Okay. So, the tarot that I'm using and that I have been using, pretty exclusively over the last few weeks has been the Biblical Tarot. So I just want to show that real quick. Biblical Tarot, I got it off of Amazon, I think. But there is a website. Let's see here. So I'm just showing a little card. It comes within the tarot deck. It says biblicaltarot.com is where you can go for it. It looks like they have a Facebook, Instagram, and they also have a YouTube channel. Looks like it's the hashtag the Biblical Tarot. So if you like the deck that I'm going to be primarily using for this channel and for the podcast, that's exactly what it is. So yeah, I like it. I really like it. I think it's beautifully done. Like it's got a little magnet opening, so I don't have to worry about messing up the box for like repeatedly opening it. For those who are listening and not watching the channel, I'm just gonna be showing just a couple illustrations of the cards that come in it. One of the main things that I like is on the back. As you can see on the back, for those who can see, but for those who can't, I'm just going to describe it. On the back, it's like a very beautifully illustrated. It looks like it's like a gray depiction of 2 doves. There are 2 doves, and there's a couple of crosses all over. Actually, I want to say it's 8 crosses. No, 10 crosses. I realized there's 2 behind the doves. Anyway, the point is on the back, the most important part that I like about this deck is that it is a mirror image flipped up over, like whether upright or reverse. On the backhand side, it is a mirror image of each other, so you don't really know if it's going to be upright or reverse until you flip it over. I think that is very I mean, it helps me out, especially when I'm shuffling, because I already don't feel any I don't feel any apprehension or any kind of like nervousness when I'm pulling these, because I don't see which cards are already in reverse, so I don't have to worry about that. So that's nice. That's a big difference in this deck versus some decks that you'll see out there. So that's one reason why I like using this deck. Another reason why I like using the deck is that it comes with and I'll show this for some of the people. I'll just show like a couple. Get a good example. Okay. So this one is the 6 of Grains. It says the Widow's Generosity. So it has a very beautiful illustration in the center of the card, and it's the illustrations that are on these cards are typically illustrations from either stories in the Bible or characters in the Bible. They're just beautifully done. On top of that, underneath the illustration, it also has a Bible verse. So for this one, the 6 of Grains, it has Widow's Generosity. And the verse that it has on here says, calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. And then it has the verse that it came from. So it says Mark 12:43. So I like using these because then it allows me to not only utilize it. I use 2 books when I'm doing the tarot. The first one is I'll use this big book of tarot meanings. I got it off of Amazon. I know they have a Kindle version as well. And I also know that I saw it in Barnes & Noble recently. So it's making its way around, which I think is really dope. I think it's because a lot more people are showing interest in tarot and spirituality. So a lot of these books are becoming more readily available. And then the other book that I use is the good book. This particular Bible that I have, here's the cover of it. It's very plain, and it kind of just looks like, I mean, if you didn't know any better, it looks like any other, like, you might think it was like a giant journal in reality. But give me 1 second, I want to just get the title of it. Okay, so it's Every Woman's Bible. It's put out by Tyndall House Publishing, or Tyndall House Publishers. I really like it. The inside is very well done. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but I highly recommend it. If anyone's wanting not just to have the Bible itself with the verses and everything, but is looking for a little extra oomph from their Bible, that's what you need. So now let's get to the tea. Let's get to the spiritual tea, shall we? The reading that I did it on July 9th. And during that time, I was going through quite a lot. I was going through a lot. I'm not going to get into too much on it, but just know that I was going through a particular point in my life where a decision was going to need to be made. And at first, I thought I made a decision and thought I was good to go. My spiritual team said, no, you are not done deciding on this. And I got put into spiritual timeout, which is wild. I've never had that happen before. I describe spiritual timeout as a series of events unfolding to where the result is that I got put somewhere by myself for a while. This time I got put by myself for a couple of days. The last time I got put in spiritual timeout was for maybe 1 to 2 days. This time it was up until this morning. I was in spiritual timeout, which meant I was just by myself in an area. I had access to the Bible. I had access to my tarot deck. And I was pretty much just alone with me and my spiritual team. I want to say it was yesterday. Yesterday I was reading the Bible, and I ended up reading the Bible for about 2, maybe 3 hours straight. I didn't realize that it was that much time that passed, but that's how much time had passed when I finally looked at the clock. So that's why I call it spiritual timeout. I just got lost in reading the Bible. That said, so the question that I asked, and these are the cards that I pulled on the 9th of July. I didn't finish doing the entire reading. I didn't finish getting the entire message until today, actually this morning, a couple hours ago. So I think that's why I was putting spiritual time out, because my spiritual team was very adamant that I get this information and I get it ASAP. So the question that I asked my spiritual team, the question that I asked the universe was, now that I've decided, what can I expect over the next 6 months? So I made a decision. And from what I'm hearing from my team right now is that it doesn't really matter to share that decision right now. I'm not going to share that decision right now, maybe later. But the point is I had a decision I needed to make. I consulted my spiritual team. I consulted the Bible. And through the messages that came out, I was able to see. So in the past, I would shuffle the deck. I think sometimes you guys actually see me shuffle it on the channel, but I used to shuffle the deck and I used to just let the cards fly out as they may. I used to take that as my spiritual team speaking to me. And I have recently learned from other tarot readers, more experienced tarot readers, that you actually don't want to do that method because you are inviting chaotic energy into the reading, where you need to shuffle. It needs to be intentional. The shuffling needs to be intentional. So stopping the shuffling when you feel like you need to stop, cutting the cards where you feel called to cut the cards, and then dealing out however many cards in a specific order on how you feel called. Every aspect of your reading needs to be intentional because it's your half of the conversation with the divine, is what I just got out of that. It's your half of the conversation with the divine, so you have to be intentional about what it is that you are asking God, what you are asking that your spiritual team. The spiritual team is going to tell you what they want to tell you, whether those cards fly out or whether they come out deliberately. Whatever spiritual vegetables you need to eat, you're going to get them all the same. So it doesn't really matter if you choose to just shuffle wildly or not. Like, that's what I'm hearing. I'm not judging anyone who shuffles and just let it fly out. I'm just explaining that that's why I'm no longer going to be doing that. Mine will be intentional from here on out. So when I asked for over the next 6 months, I shuffled, split the deck, and I pulled 6 cards, essentially one for each month. It doesn't have to be in that order. This is the events as they're supposed to unfold. So I'm going to read to you which card came out. Actually, if y'all give me a second, I'm going to try to find each card that came out as well. I'm not going to find them all right now because then that'd take too much time. But I am going to look for the card that came out. Actually, if I come across the ones that came out, I'll just grab them as I see them. But I'm really right now just looking for the first one. So bear with me. Okay. So I found the first one. The first card that came out in this reading was the 6 of Feathers. For those who do regular readings, or not regular readings, for those who use more traditional tarot, that would be your Six of Swords. So it was the Six of Feathers. The biblical tarot also comes with a little booklet of keywords that tie to the specific suits that they have outlined and the specific major and minor arcana that they have depicted. So that's really nice. So it was the Six of Feathers, and on the card it has two women standing. It looks like standing in front of a large expansive wheat field that's got a path split right down the middle. And they are holding hands. And it says, I'm just going to say real quick, I'm probably most definitely going to mispronounce a lot of these names in the Bible. I'm going to mispronounce names. I'm going to mispronounce places. Do not come for me. Just accept that I might be ignorant on the correct pronunciation, or I might just be the fact that I'm Southern. So if you have the correct pronunciation of the names or the places, please drop it in the comments. Just don't come for me and be like, oh man, I can't trust her message, she don't know how to pronounce the names. Reading's a journey, okay? And so I'm pronouncing it the way that I'm sounding it out, like kindergarten, okay? So don't come for me. Anyway, so the Six of Feathers, it says Ruth the Moabite, Moabite. That's what I got. Ruth the Moabite. Now, the quote, the verse that's on here is Ruth 1:16. And it says, but Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. So that's the quote. When you look into the little booklet, the biblical tarot booklet, and you flip through, it'll have a breakdown of the major and minor arcana, and then once it goes to the minor arcana, you'll see a little bit of a section like so, where it kind of breaks down each specific card, and it gives you keywords for the upright and for the reversed. So that's really nice. So I do like that. So I already wrote this down, so I'm not going to flip through it. For the Six of Feathers upright, it says transition, change, moving on, calmer times ahead, leaving behind, unintentionally walking away, progress, carrying your wounds or pain into the future. So that is the key. Yeah, those are the keywords for that card. I'm now going to flip into my Bible, and I want to read the specific. I like to look where the verse is to see if there's any additional meaning or any additional message around that verse. Because some people cherry pick the Bible. They will say a phrase or they will say part of a verse. And I'm like, you ain't read that whole chapter, or you ain't even read that whole verse. Like, finish the verse. So that's what I will be doing here. And it says 1:16? Okay. Okay, so 1:16, it says, but Ruth replied, don't ask me to leave you and turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. It does go on to say, wherever you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us. So, that was the energy that I was hitting in the beginning of the decision that I was going to make. That was the energy that I was hitting. That was the decision that I was like, okay, like the question, the entire reading starts off literally with what I was going to to decide. So I felt like this reading was going to resonate with me. In the big book of tarot meanings, the Six of Swords upright, I read from a different section of that, and it says, you're in a transitional period, but rather than feeling butterflies of excitement, a pit of sadness is balled up in your stomach. It's okay to be sad as we transition and change and leave things behind. Look to the future, find excitement and motivation there. Know that the journey may be difficult, but it's necessary for you and will be worth it in the end. So this section that I read within the Six of Swords was specifically under the higher guidance section. Each card within the book is broken into many sections. You have sections on just a general reading. You have sections on, I want to say, money, love. You have sections on family and friends, higher guidance, your health, and an outcome. So when I went into these particular cards, I kind of read across all of them and picked the one that stood out to me, the one that felt like that was the specific message for me. So these are, for the most part, going to be from my higher guidance, with the exception of maybe the last one that came from the outcome. So, so it's already starting off solid for me. It's like, okay, this is a message that you were wanting. The next card that came out was the Soul card, which is very, the equivalent in regular tarot would be the Fool. So starting a new journey. And when you look at the card in the biblical tarot, it appears that it says, like at the bottom, it says the soul creation of a living being. So this looks like in the very beginning when God creates Adam. And when God creates Adam, so it has the image of a man, looks like a man is being birthed from trees, like it's being grown from a tree, perhaps the tree of life, and then above it shows this very ethereal spirit in the shape of a man, very similar to the position that Adam has in earth form, and then it looks like it's descending down from the heavens into Adam. So it's like the breath of life that most Bibles say was breathed into Adam from the divine. So that is this card. So it's very beautiful card. But it was reverse. It was reversed when it came out. So it's just like, okay, a very beautiful card. Why is it reversed like that? So instead of it looking like it's descending into the body, it looks like it is now descending out of the body. So that's just what I took out of that. So I looked at the keywords and it said naive, reckless, indecisive, distracted, careless, holding back, afraid of commitments. This particular card is part of the major arcana, and pretty much the major arcana for the most part do not have biblical verses attached to it. So I don't have a biblical verse to read from, but I do have the Fool's reading from higher guidance from the tarot meaning book. And it says, you feel the stirrings of beginnings of a new journey, but you haven't taken the leap yet. Alternatively, the reverse fool can represent taking too many risks or acting recklessly. Know that there's no perfect time to wait for, and that the universe will help guide you along the way once you take your first step. So for me, what resonated for me when this card came out was doing this podcast, doing this video. For those who had been watching my videos or those who are just tuning into my videos, you will notice that there's a big gap between this video and my previous videos. It was because there was a lot of obstacles that I was feeling, a lot of my energy was being pulled on. And I didn't notice it at first until I went through the spiritual timeout and it was made clear. So not only was I holding myself back, but the pull on my energy was also part of it. So yeah, so I was like, okay, sounds right. It sounds right. Let's keep going. The next one, it says 9 of feathers, which interesting. So I pulled the deck up just now and I saw the Hangman, which is not particularly calling out to me that the Hangman is usually just someone stuck in a decision, someone not being able to move forward with a decision. So it's kind of like that spiritual timeout I was talking about, but it just so happens on the biblical tarot deck that it discusses Peter's crucifixion, which is very interesting because the 9 of feathers in the biblical tarot is actually covers the part of the story where Peter denies Jesus 3 times. So it's just very interesting that when I went to pull up this deck just now, that's was just hanging out there. So hold on, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to find the 9 of feathers. I'm gonna need that one for later. Ten of feathers. I'm going to need the 3 candles for later in this reading as well, so just bear with me. That one popped up, so I was able to grab it. Okay, hold on. Something is hiding my sight because I know I have the card here, but for some reason I wasn't able to find it the first time through. Okay, 9 of feathers, found it. I knew something was hiding my sight. I was like, I know I had it earlier. I mean, all the cards are here, so I'm like, it's got to be somewhere. So this one was upright this time, 9 of feathers. And if you're watching it, if you're not able to watch it on video, the illustration is essentially, it looks like Peter the night before they crucified Jesus. You can see him kind of in the foreground with the cross in the background. It looks like it's most likely going to be the cross that Jesus is put up on, or the cross that Jesus was put up on, and he's kind of looking very distressed. He's looking very distressed. He's looking very remorseful. He's got his head down. In his hand, he's got another hand over the spot between his over his chest, between like his heart and his throat, and he just seems very he seems kind of tormented. He seems like he's being just trapped in grief and trapped in remorse is what I'm getting out of this. So the verse at the bottom of this says, "Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken, 'Before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times.' And he went outside and wept bitterly." And it's from the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 75. So I wanted to go there as well. Open the book of Matthew. See if I can find it. Wow, interesting. Okay. Yep, no, I got it. I got to highlight it. I tabbed all of these. Hold on, I'm getting something here. Okay, so I'm going to read both because both parts are they're pretty short. Because this particular part of this chapter speaks to Peter actually denying Jesus, but I want to back it up a little bit where Jesus predicts Peter's denial. At this point, Jesus is pretty much hanging out with the disciples. It's the night before he is going to be crucified, and he is essentially, he's letting everyone know like what's going to come to pass. He's saying like, hey, like one of y'all are going to betray me. Somebody just at this very table, somebody just drinking and eating the very food that we're eating is going to be that person that's going to betray me and end up causing my death. And so on top of that, he also says, tonight, all of you will desert me. For the scriptures say God will strike the shepherd and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have been raised from the dead, I will go ahead of you to Galilee and meet you there. Peter, now this is one of those things that I like to call a hit dog a holler. So anytime someone says something that is very general, and the first person to feel some type of way enough to like say something in response, that's usually the person, because that phrase is essentially saying that if that dog felt like they got hit, they're gonna holler, they're gonna say something. So if I throw something out there and you feel like it hit your spirit, you're usually gonna be the one to speak up first. So that's pretty much what happened here. A hit dog a holler. Peter declared, even if everyone else deserts you, I will never desert you. So Jesus essentially called cap. He called cap on it, and he clocked him. Almost literally, he clocked him, and Jesus replied, I tell you the truth, Peter, this very night before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times that you even know me. No, Peter insisted, even if I have to die with you, I will never deny you. And all of the other disciples vowed the same. So that's pretty much the story. I know some of y'all are already privy to the Bible, so you already know the initial story of what that verse means and like everything behind it. But that's pretty much what happened. He's just, sitting at the table, telling everybody what's going to come to pass. Peter, for some reason, out of 13 disciples, I think it was 13. It could be 12. I don't know. Either way, if that's what it is, awesome. Either somebody can put it in the chat, or if I plan to send this video over to my my spiritual best friend, the Jonathan, to my David, and seeing if she will maybe put a little sticker in there for me. I don't know. Maybe she'll tell you which one it is. But yeah, so I'm going to send this. I might send this over to her, and she might help me out with some of these things. If she does, bless you. If not, leave it in a comment. You can tell me if there was 12 or 13. I ain't get to that part yet. I'm skipping around. But then it fast forwards through everything. Most of the things that Jesus says comes to pass. His disciples do scatter when they come to collect him. When the person betrays him and he ends up being imprisoned, all of his disciples just dip out, which is wild. But as he's being on trial, essentially, like while he's being on trial and while they're, questioning him, trying to trip him up to find justification for killing him, in the crowd, Peter's kind of just out there in the crowd, just like on the outskirts, kind of like watching from a distance, trying to see like which way it's going to play out. And I'm just like, That's very interesting energy. I'm not gonna judge, but I'm trying not to judge, but it's a little difficult not to judge when you're over there just sneak peeping and waiting for the outcome. But while he's sneak peeping, this is the part where he denies Jesus. It says, meanwhile, Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard. A servant girl came over and said to him, "You were one of those with Jesus, the Galilean." But Peter denied it in front of everyone. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said. Later, out by the gate, another servant girl noticed him and said to those standing around, "This man was with Jesus of Nazareth." Again, Peter denied it, this time with an oath. "I don't even know the man," he said. A little later, some of the other bystanders came over to Peter and said, "You must be one of them. We can tell by your Galilean accent." Peter swore, "A curse on me if I am lying. I don't know the man." And immediately the rooster crowed. And that's where this verse comes in that we were reading today. Suddenly, Jesus' words flashed through Peter's mind. "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times that you even know me." And he went away weeping bitterly. Now, I don't know what happens to the rest of Peter's story. Maybe when I get off of here, I might look into it. And this part resonated with me so much because when I was making the decision that I was making, before I made this decision, I gave someone a warning. I gave someone close to me a warning. I said that God has a calling on my life that I'm meant to be out here doing. I believe that God has brought you into my life because you are meant to be a part of that as well. You are meant to be not just a part of me on this journey, but you're meant to be an equal voice in this journey. You're meant to be an equal light on this journey, taking this light and bringing it to others. And I said, however, you have a lot of spiritual vegetables you need to eat. You have a lot of hard truth pills you need to swallow. The universe wants to use you. God wants to use you. God wants to use many of us. I would even go as far to say and argue that God wants to use all of us. But at the same time, God gave us the gift of free will. So we have our will and we have God's will. And God will respect our will. But I'm also going to say this, that God wants to use you to do their will, and there are certain things in your life that cannot be happening, or God can't use you. And if you refuse time and time and time again to get to where you need to be spiritually so that God can use you the way God wants to use you, God will pass you by. God will pass you by. And that's not to say, oh, God's going to, make bad things happen to you. No, God doesn't cause bad things to happen to you. God's presence protects those bad things from touching you. And I believe that when the Spirit of God leaves you, it puts you into a very vulnerable place where those bad things can begin to happen to you. Now, I'm not saying that every bad thing that happens to you is because because God's will has left you. That's a whole different topic for a whole different day. But when I say that you have a calling in your life and you have that calling in your life, you can hear that calling being called down to you in your life, and you don't answer that call, and all of a sudden you start to be plagued by entities of doubt, of fear, of depression, of shame. Those negative energies, when they start hitting you like boom, 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 and it feels like every single thing is going wrong back to back to back, that is happening because you are not on your path. You are not on the path God wants you to be on. And the way that you can fix that is getting back into alignment. Getting back into alignment, getting back into whatever God has called you to do. And I'm not saying get back into alignment and do what God calls you to do in a way that society accepts, because there are certain ways that people view people who they believe are called to do God's work. There's a certain image that conjures into people's minds when they believe, oh, this person is here to do God's work. And so they think that if you don't fit into that cookie cutter look of it, you're not here to do that. You're not of God. And I'm like, I'm sorry, are you God? Do you have God's map out to see exactly how he has built and how he has structured each and every person? God used the devil to do God's work. You don't know who God gonna use and how God's gonna use them. That ain't for you. You don't have that gift. I'm sorry. You don't have that gift. All you can do is pray for discernment for the people around you, and pray that if the people around you are not there to help you on your spiritual path, to help you stay to do God's work that you know you are called to do, pray for them to be removed. And I promise you it will happen so fast it will take your breath away. But it is not for you to decide if the person next to you is in fact doing God's purpose. That's not for you to decide. That decision is not yours. I'm going to get off my spiritual soapbox now and off my spiritual tangent. But that's what the Peter denies Jesus. All of those things, that message, that's what came up for me. In the Tarot Book of Meanings, the keywords that I got were anxiety, fear, nightmares, stress, resentment, guilt, mental anguish, consumed by worry, and dark night of the soul. See what I'm saying? Every single thing that and this ain't even in the reverse. A lot of people think that reverse cards is the ones that have the negative energies or the negative emotions tied to it. This is just straight up, no chaser. This is what you got going on. The meaning that I got was this: continuing down that path you're on will bring you pain. The Nine of Feathers. Feathers are also known in the tarot world as the Nine of Swords, just so you know. The Nine of Feathers is pretty clear about that. Figure out where things aren't aligned in your life. How can you work towards healing now so things don't become more painful down the line? A key component of the Nine of Swords is asking for help when you need it. So please reach out to someone for guidance. So I know that this part of the reading is exactly the message that I told this person. And I want to say I told this person this message a week, almost to the day, before I actually did this reading on the 9th. And I didn't realize until after I did this reading and after I got to this card and did this reading that, wow, I was speaking about God passing this person by, but I didn't take the entire message. When God leaves you, God is every gift that God has given you, everything that you've been blessed with, all those things, you only have those things because God is still there. God is still in it. God is still working those things. But if you don't want to live in God's light will move from you, and so will every single gift God gave you. I don't know what part of the Bible it's in. I will get there. If you know, put it in the comments as well. But I have always heard the phrase, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. That's what this means. If you don't want to appreciate God in your life, if you don't want to appreciate the gifts that God brings you into your life, God will exit stage right and God will take everything with them. Period. But I didn't realize that one of the things that I had been constantly told by this particular person about this decision, they had called me a gift on more than one occasion. And I think it's a very beautiful thing. I wasn't seeing myself as a gift to this person. In reality, I saw them as a gift to me, but I know that they were a gift from the giver. And I know from the part of the Bible I've read so far that you do not love the gift more than you love the giver. Because without the giver, you would not have gotten that gift. So, this person themselves called me a gift from God. So that means if God leaves you to your free will on where you decide to be, leaves you to your fate, and God is going to take every gift that they gave you in the process, that means me too. I don't make the rules. I just follow the will. So that's where this is coming out. I don't know if that person is going to watch this reading at all. I hope they do. And I hope that they take something out of it. And if nothing else, I hope they take this part out of it. That I have something that I'm meant to do in my life. I can feel it. And I can feel it more and more each day. And it is taking up more and more of my mental and spiritual energy every single day in the best possible way. That this is what I'm meant to do. And I'm not meant to be blocked. And those who block me will be removed. Not by my hand. And not on my time. The next one that popped up was the Two of Chalices. Two of Chalices. Which is a very beautiful card, by the way. Where's my Jonathan? I want to say it's David and Jonathan. Broing it out. Give me a minute. There it is. Two chalices. Throwing it out. I love it. It kind of reminds me of, I forget the meme, so don't come for me. I'm in my 30s, so I'm kind of old. But there's a meme where, like, I want to say it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and one other person, and they kind of got like this bro lock, and it's just like just nothing but two giant biceps just like broing it up, and it's just like the epitome of like that bromance situation, which that's what it reminds me of for this card. It's just like two bros broing it up. You have David. It says Two of Chalices, the bond of David and Jonathan. The verse says, and Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Now, I know some people who have read this part of the Bible, and some people kind of give this bond a bombastic side eye, because there is a quote in the Bible that shows that, like, when Jonathan, because Jonathan, spoiler alert, if I'm spoiling the Bible for you, I don't know what to do for you, bro. Like, it's been out forever. So, like, but there's a part in the Bible where Jonathan does die. Jonathan dies in battle. And David is called to speak on Jonathan's behalf at his funeral, kind of like a eulogy. And he's also called to speak on Jonathan's father's behalf, Saul. You don't know who these people are? That means you need to stay tuned for when I'm doing my Bible study. We'll get there. But what happens is David is giving a eulogy, and he talks, and he's speaking highly of both Saul and his son Jonathan, aka his ride or die bro. And he's talking about how he had such an immense love for Jonathan because Jonathan loved him deeply, more than any other woman could possibly love David. Now, some people gave that whole statement like a little bombastic side eye and probably thought like, ooh, gay, whatever. I look at it as this, that we are all put here. All of our spirits have been put on this earth for a reason, to learn lessons. We also have bonds with each other's spirits. And I think that the bond between David and Jonathan transcended any earthly bonds, any earthly constraints of what constituted a relationship between two people. This made me think that these two people were bonded on a spiritual level, that this is your ride or die. Like, this is the person that you would go to war with, die for 1,000,000 times over. And some people don't have that bond. Some people are lucky enough to have that bond and have it with a significant other. If you do, beautiful, dope. And then some people have that bond with people who are friends. And because this bond is so strong, a lot of people in your life that don't have that type of bond, they're going to look at it side-eye. They're not going to understand it. They're really not. That's why I called my spiritual best friend earlier. Her name is Kai. She has a YouTube channel called De-Anxiety. If she's doing this, I hope she gives herself a very nice, like, little overlay shout out somewhere, somewhere on the screen, because she deserves it. She's the one, like, she pulled me out of, like, my darkest period in my life, and actually gave me my first Bible that I have had as an adult. So she kickstarted a lot of this part of my spiritual journey. So big props to her. She's a real one. She's a real one. That's my bro. That's my dog. That's my sister. That's my Jonathan. She's the Jonathan to my David. So yeah, I think that's what this part is speaking to. It's the key word is meaningful friendship or partnership, mutual respect and understanding, loyalty and support in relationships, emotional and spiritual connection, harmony and balance in interactions. In the biblical tarot meanings book, it says you're a magnet for success, opportunities, and aligned opportunities right now. Do you feel it? If you're not feeling that sparkly Two of Cups energy, work on tapping into your creative energy and intuition. You're on the road to alignment, harmony, and compatibility. Continue on your current path. Take time for little checkpoints with yourself along the way to ensure you're deciding from a place of love and unity. So I have been blessed to have multiple bonds like David and Jonathan in my life. She's one of them. My best friend P is another. He's out in Arizona. Shout out to P. He made Master Sergeant. Boom. That was my little brag to my buddy. He's killing the game. Another bond is with myself. And actually that one is the strongest bond. And I suggest that everybody on this earth, your strongest bond, your truest Jonathan is and needs to be with yourself. You need to love yourself more than you love any other person on this planet. Now, that's not to say that you don't love those people, but you have to love yourself more than them, to include the people that you create. And the reason why I say that is because when you love someone more than you love yourself, you hand over too much power to that one person. That means that person has the capability of treating you any kind of way that they see fit, and you will just accept it. You will stay there and you will just continue to take more. You are at the complete and utter mercy of how this person decides to treat you. And that's not what God wants for you. The 2 commandments that we are supposed to live by on this earth, according to the scriptures of Moses, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. Additionally, you're supposed to love others as you love yourself. Now, let me break this down for some of y'all. If you were meant to love everyone with all your mind, your heart, and your soul like you love God, they would have just put all that in one fell swoop. They wouldn't have split those 2 things up into 2 separate commandments. So, there's that. 2, it says love others as you love yourself. Now, it doesn't specify and say you're supposed to love others more than you love yourself at all. Some people would argue, well, it doesn't say you're supposed to love yourself more than you love others. Fair. But when you love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul, that means you love to a new level more than anything in this world. And one of the things that God did was give you the gift of life. So you are meant to love, because loving yourself is loving God. Loving yourself is loving God. Loving others is also loving God. But when you allow people to treat you any kind of way, that means that you are to love them. You have to love yourself less. And God didn't say love others more than yourself. It said love them as you love yourself. So that means if loving them means that you have to love yourself less, it's time to walk away. It's time to walk away. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, I think that's the message that I meant to put out there. I'm trying not to hold y'all long, but I also felt compelled. This is supposed to be a reading over the next 6 months, so it's kind of lengthy. I don't intend for the rest of my readings from here on out to be as lengthy, but that's why it's been such a long time for this message to come out. That being said, I have two more. So bear with me, y'all. The first one, hey, look, see, I already grabbed the cards. See, the spiritual team was looking for me, so now I don't have to take the time to dig to find them, because I was finding them along the way. So the next card that came out for me was the 3 of Candles, and it is the call of Abram, aka Abraham. At some point in the Bible, God was just like, you know what? You get an alias now. This is your new name. That Abram is your dead name. We're gonna go ham, and we're gonna add Abraham. So that's what you get now. I mean, they didn't say it like verbatim, so just like don't come for me. But that's pretty much the message that I received out of it. But yeah, I forget this actor's name, and it's gonna bother me. And if you know the actor's name, also throw it in the comments, because I got a lot of questions right now, and I don't feel like trying to like stop my phone to like look it up. But this dude kind of looks like the actor who ended up going on to direct The Passion of the Christ. Very problematic dude, but he kind of looks like him. So if you see this on here or you hear what I'm describing and you know the person, just drop it in the comments or drop me a message on my Facebook channel, because it look like him and I need to know what his name is. But the verse it looks like he's looking to the heavens. He's looking to the heavens. His face is turned looking to the heavens, but his body is faced in a different direction that is facing this very long path that stretches out ahead of him into the unknown. And that continues all the way to the horizon line. So it's a long journey that he's about to be called to go on. And so the Bible verse, I knocked that over. It's a good thing that stopped burning. Otherwise, I'd be done burning this whole place down. It is Genesis 12:1 in the Bible. And the short quote on the card says, "The Lord said to Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." So I wanted to see what the full verse is. Well, not the full verse, the full message. So I go to Genesis 12:1, and it says, "The Lord said to Abram, leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you. Switching over real quickly to the keywords for this card. It says the call of Abram means embarking on a new adventure. Faith in the face of the unknown, anticipation of future rewards, courage to leave the familiar behind, foresight and planning for a new path. In the book of tarot meanings, it says, now is the time to take steps to turn your plans into reality. Get out of your comfort zone and explore. The Three of Wands is the tarot version of, like, your more traditional tarot version in your traditional tarot decks for the Three of Candles. But it says the Three of Wands suggests that opportunity awaits if you're brave enough to look for it. So this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm getting out of the reading. This is what I'm meant to do. This same thing that I've been called over and over to do. I almost didn't even do this reading today, but I kept being smacked over the head with a spiritual newspaper from my spiritual team, telling me that if I didn't do it, they were going to put me in another spiritual timeout. And while nice, I kind of don't want another one because it's hard. Spiritual timeouts are full of eating spiritual vegetables that are hard to do. So I was like, okay, I don't want another one this soon. Fine, I'll do it. And it's 1:11 on the clock right now. So I've been doing this for a little while. Sorry, it's being lengthy and everything. I haven't taken my meds today for ADHD, so don't come for me. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I hear them. I hear the call. I'm answering the call. Let's go with it. The last one. This is the last reading, the 6th card that is supposed to go out over the next 6 months. Is the 7 of Candles, aka David and Goliath. Try not to be scared. I keep hearing from my spiritual team over and over and over, fear not, for I am with you. So trying not to be scared by seeing this card, but I am only human. I'm not perfect. The Bible verse attached to the card says, David said to the Philistine, you come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. Now, I also have the full, not just the verse, because that is the full verse, but there is a key. There's a key to this. There's a key message, so I want to read it. There's like this full spot between, actually, hold on. Yeah, it goes from verse 45 to verse 48. And this is the entire statement that he makes to Goliath. That was just one verse, but that wasn't the entire statement that David makes to Goliath. He says, David responded to the Philistine, you come to me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of heaven's armies, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. Today the Lord will conquer you, and I will kill you and cut off your head. And then I will give the dead bodies of your men to the birds and wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. And everyone assembled here will know that the Lord rescues his people, but not with the sword and spear. This is the Lord's battle, and he will give you to us. So I think this final one, well, let me read the keyword in the tarot meaning before I close this out with my final thought for it. The keywords are facing overwhelming odds, courage and determination, defending beliefs and values, using one's unique strengths, resilience in adversity, victory through persistence. You've worked hard to get where you are, but there are others who would rather see you fail. This card can also suggest coming up against obstacles as you try to begin your new chapter. Stand tall in your authenticity and beliefs. Know that you'll make it out on top. So that was the last card for the reading, for the first reading that I did. And I got a lot. I got a lot out of this. It opened with me. The reading opened with exactly where my mind was at the time in that decision. It also tells me that there's a possibility that the decision that I made may fall through. But I know that decision, it may fall through because there are parts of that decision that are outside of my control. A lot of it has to do with the person in which I made the decision on and the decision that they make. Do they want to walk in the right path? Do they want to continue to have God's anointing on their life? Do they want to answer the call that God has made for them and meet me on this journey, or will they be removed? I don't know which way that's going to go. I hope and I pray that person makes the right decision, because I love this person. I like having this person in my life, but I also know what I'm called to do. So while I know what I want, I'm not going to let my wants and my needs and my will overrule the will of my father or my mother or my spiritual brother. They have a whole different plan for me, and I intend to answer that call. I also see that I have so many people in my corner. I've learned that within the last week as well. I have so many people in my corner that want nothing but my highest good. So to the ones who don't want my highest good, the ones who want to see me fail, I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about them because I know who I have at my back. I know my spiritual team can handle things faster and with a harder punch than one I can ever throw. That victory is not mine. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on what it is that I'm meant to do. The people in my life who are meant to stay will stay. And the people who are not meant to be in my life will go. And if they don't want to go, they will be removed. And I don't have to lift a finger for it. That being said, on that note, there is a second reading. I'm not going to do it today because I haven't even begun to do the reading. And even still, like I'm going to tell you what the cards are, because I might do a second reading later on in the week that kind of goes over it. But if not, it won't happen. It may just be because it's not in the cards. It may be because it's not their will for y'all to know what's going on. But the second question that I did ask was, what do the next 6 months of working on my podcast look like? What does that look like? And I'll share the cards here. And maybe on another episode, I'll do a breakdown of very similar to what I did today. But the first card that came out was Death, aka the Fourth Horseman. The second card that came out was the Four of Feathers, which is also known as the Four of Swords. And it was Elijah's retreat into silence. So it sounds like I'm about to go hermit mode. It sounds like from what I know, Death is usually a transformation card. The Four of Feathers is usually a retreat and rest card. So it looks like in order to have this transformation, I'm going to have to go into retreat. The Two of Candles is Elijah on Mount Carmel. Two of Candles is also known as the Two of Wands. So it sounds like there's another decision that's going to be on my plate. And that's reverse. So it sounds like it's going to be a decision that I'm going to be stuck on making And I see the High Priestess is also reversed, aka Mary Magdalene in this deck. She's also reversed, so that means I'm stuck in a decision and I'm stuck with my intuition. So y'all who pray, say a prayer for me that I can get discernment to get out of that. The Five of Grains is the Five of Pentacles, the Bleeding Woman, which the Five of Pentacles usually talks about people who are stuck in a lack mindset, and they're more focused on the things that they lack and can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So sounds like some potential trials and tribulations on the horizon for your girl. So just, say a prayer for me. But at the same time, the last card was the soul, or the creation of the living being, the same card that I was talking about in this one with the divine being. In this reading, the divine being looked like it was descending out of Adam. In this next reading, it looks like it's upright. So it looks like that divine being is coming down into Adam's spirit. So it's like almost a complete reverse of what we saw in this reading. So that said, if you're interested in seeing what that reading means, if you're interested in seeing the breakdown of that meaning, drop a comment as well. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this overall, about me reading parts of the Bible and reading the tarot meanings, giving more of a breakdown as to what the cards mean. If there are things that you would like to see, I have a lot of big plans for this channel. It's not just going to be tarot. It's not just going to be just reading the Bible. I plan on doing interviews with people. I have a lot of things that I want to do, and I'm really excited to do them. And I'm excited to start this journey, and I can't wait to see what happens, and I'm excited for you guys to join me. So with that being said, I'm going to close it out. Until the next time, stay unapologetically you, and I will be unapologetically me. Bye!